What the? Yep, nope, I'm good. Not the way I wanted to go.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I just got crazy chills. Crazy chills.
كل هذه كل بسم الله لا اله الا الله اعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
What began as a peaceful afternoon under the beauty of a Utah waterfall nearly turned into tragedy. Without warning, large boulders sheared off and fell into the pool, narrowly missing 2 children by a matter of inches. Only seconds before, they were laughing and playing, unaware of the danger looming above them. The impact sent waves and chaos through everyone who was nearby, changing peacefulness to panic in a matter of seconds. Isn't it frightening how quickly the serenity of nature can turn into a disaster? And what would you do if you saw disaster land exactly where you were standing? Sometimes survival is measured in inches. The mountains can be tranquil, but they can also roar without notice. What was meant to be a dreamy honeymoon adventure quickly turned into chaos. 2 trekkers on Mount Etna found themselves caught in an eruption. The ground trembled without notice, and the volcano burst with massive clouds of ash and scorching pyroclastic flow down the mountain's side. There were also panicked hikers fleeing for their lives, the lovely trail now an infernal path of retreat.
Kanona. Whoa. Dit is wel heel heftig. Man. Dit is niet normaal.
No one was hurt, thankfully, but the terror in their faces spoke volumes. Can you imagine being trapped on that mountain with fire chasing you? Would you freeze in shock or run until your legs couldn't move you anymore? Nature's beauty can turn to terror in the blink of an eye. What was to be a fun trek quickly turned into a mud-covered disaster. These 2 ladies set out on a dangerous expedition on a rainy day without knowing what they were in for. The path instantly turned into nothing but gooey, slippery mud. One got stuck, hysterically laughing as she tried to free herself. Her friend reached out to help, but instead fell and slid straight down the muddy hill. What was supposed to be a peaceful walk became a silly, dirty struggle they'll never forget. Have you ever had a trip go awry in such a quirky way? Would you laugh it off and continue or quit right there in the mud? It began as an innocent family stroll that turned into an icy memory they'll never forget. The woods were still, the trees motionless, until one of the kids froze, pointing at the trees. Something was staring back at them. Its shape was hard to make out, but its existence was certain. Trembling hands grabbed their camera and pressed record. What they captured continues to leave things to this day. Was it a beast, an ill shadow, a vision, or something worse? If you were present, would you go in and attempt to discover the answer? Or would you leave immediately? And what do you think was standing by watching them that day? The most frightening things are the things that won't turn away. He entered the haunted house with nothing but his hunting gear, thinking it was another adventure. But then things changed. Strange sounds resonated from everywhere, doors slammed shut on their own, and shadows dispersed on the walls. His heart pounding, fear gripping him tighter with every step.
يا جماعة ما تلاحظون ان هذه كلها تتحرك كل هذه كلها بسم الله لا اله الا الله اعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا 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 يا جماعة لا 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 يا جماعة أنا ماني قادر من ريحة الكلب والله العظيم. أنتم عزكم الله خلاص. لا إله إلا الله. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. لا 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 والله العظيم ماني قادر من الريحة يا جماعة. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب. لا إله إلا الله.
Was he alone? Or was someone waiting for him in the shadows? What do you do if you find yourself trapped in such a situation? Do you hide, flee, or confront the unknown? In haunted places, it's not the silence you fear, it's what breaks it. His head twitched, trying to track the whispers that traveled the air in the haunted house. Every corner pulsed, every shadow lived. And then, he froze. The door creaked open, and there was two glowing, unnatural eyes trained straight on him. His chest tightened. Trick of the mind or something far more sinister? Demon pants, staring unblinking, as if waiting for him to make the first move. What would you do if you were directly in front of something non-human? Would you scream, run away, or attempt to fight it? This family was walking along the forest trail, kids laughing, parents inhaling the crisp pea air, when suddenly, all movement stopped. One of the children was motionless, pointing down the path. Out of the bushes, a leopard came onto the trail. Still, muscles tense, looking at them. The forest that had felt so secure just minutes earlier now felt like a trap, each passing second feeling like an eternity. The family held its breath, hearts pounding, unsure whether to move forward or remain frozen under its piercing gaze. What would you do if a predator blocked your path, stood your ground, or risked running? Do you think the leopard was hungry, curious, or protecting its territory? Sometimes the wild reminds us we are not the top of the food chain. The mountains are beautiful, but beauty is a deceitful thing. What started as a tranquil glacier trek had turned into a nightmare within the blink of an eye. This mountaineer, trekking through the snowy hill, lost his balance quite suddenly. Within a split second, he was sliding down the icy slope with no control over his move, his life flashing before his eyes. Just when hope was going to be doused, he was yanked to a stop by a sharp rock.
Whoa!
His heart was racing as the quietness of the snowy landscape enveloped him. Suppose the boulder had not been there. Might he have survived the deadly drop underground? Would you ever risk going out alone into such savage country? Nature doesn't forgive mistakes. It simply reminds us who's in control. The woods are never silent. Sometimes they watch. This guy was enjoying a quiet night hike when suddenly an arrow struck the tree right beside him. With his heart pounding, he took off, only to hear another whistle through the darkness, landing dangerously close. The quiet night had turned into something awful. Someone or something was hunting him. Who is hiding in the darkness shooting those arrows? Is it a man or something far more sinister guarding the woods? Would you run further into the forest or stand your ground if it were you? And most of all, why is he being stalked to begin with? Sometimes in the dark woods, predators don't always have claws. Sometimes they aim. It was a usual quiet afternoon when this girl decided to go for a walk in her mom's backyard. Suddenly, she noticed something unusual. a tiny hole in the ground. Out of curiosity, she stuck her phone in it with the flashlight on, and what she discovered was stunning. An underground cave room-sized, 4 corners and walls that appeared to be carved as done intentionally. But here's the question: who did it, and why would anyone create a hidden room beneath a backyard? Was it a secret hideout at one time, a bunker no one recalled, or something sinister that history tried to cover up? If you found something like that, would you go in or seal it forever again? It was supposed to be a normal forest drive, but for this biker, it might have been his last. Deep in the forest, he heard a cave with strange sounds coming from within. Curiosity pulled him closer, but fear stopped him from going in. He turned back and tossed something into the darkness, only to have it tossed back towards him. That's when fear got the better of him.
Bro, is that my fork? What? Hello?
No.
It's like a trail just leading me. That was a bone I just broke. Why is that?
Help.
Hello? What the hell? Bro, I don't care about my bike. Hello? Is anybody there? I don't know, dude. Am I just hearing things? Hello? What the Yep, nope, I'm good. Not the way I wanted to go. Oh, I gotta get back to my bike. Crap.
And he ran as fast as his legs could carry him, running for his life. But what was in the cave, you ask? A skinwalker, maybe? Something otherworldly? Or the woods having a joke played on no man can ever decipher? Would you go in if you were me, or walk away for good? Not every cave contains shad. Some contain secrets it's best to leave unsaid. Driving alone in the woods at night is creepy enough. But imagine this. Headlights on the trees, and suddenly something appears on the road. It resembles a butt with a pig's snout. Not quite human, not quite beast. The man in the driver's seat bristled, gripping the steering wheel tighter. His racing heart didn't dare to go to make a move, just fixated as this strange creature stood between him and the darkness, staring right back at him. But what did he actually see? Was it a new creature, a shifter, or something worse? If you were him, alone, in the dark of night, would you stay in the car, drive on through, or risk getting out? Not all monsters are mythical. Some sneak up behind us when we least expect them. Brian, a seasoned paranormal explorer, decided to spend the night near an abandoned cemetery on the outskirts of Amsterdam, an eerie place locals whispered about, known only as the House of Question. As he wandered between the tangled weeds and forgotten headstones, his EMF reader began spiking wildly.
I got really strong hits. I got a word that it said deem. I'm not sure what it means by deem. But I had a couple strong hits on the EMF reader right there for a moment. I'm going to step in here. Not at the tombstone though. But I do get the sense, I don't know how to describe it. It's not necessarily a foreboding, but like of loss and regret.
Beyond that stretch of the cemetery was heavy construction and unsettling silence. But the urge to press forward grew stronger. The deeper he went, the air seemed to shift. He stopped at a weathered grave.
Yes, definitely here in this path.
You're
And
being followed.
I'm being followed. That's what I just got on the Spirit app. And you know, I was thinking to myself as I was walking through here, I had the feeling of a cold spot. Well, this one's 1952. So that's not that old, if you ask me, as far as... So I'm going to try and find out when this cemetery was finally abandoned.
Chills ran through him. Legends claimed the cries of children echoed here, and suddenly it felt far too real. Then came the presence, a strange heaviness at his back. Brian turned, and there he was, an old man, pale and silent, lingering just out of reach.
Really incredible trees, and they've made such a beautiful park here. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I just got crazy chills. Crazy chills. Crazy chills. What did you just do? Did you touch me? Nothing. You just touched me? Was that you? Please don't do that again. That was not pleasant. I got a burning on the back of my neck right now. Okay, if that was you, please do not touch me again in that way. Oh man, I have to check when I get home. Man, this is crazy.
Every time Brian shifted his path, the man appeared again, watching him. No words, no movement, just that relentless, unsettling stare. He finally left the cemetery, but the feeling never lifted. That silent figure. It wasn't just in the cemetery anymore. This person was out in the South African bush, celebrating a birthday dinner on October 2nd. Picture this, a magical outdoor setup, just trees, lantern light, and the sound of nature. Everything felt peaceful. Until this person looked back at a photo from that night. At first glance, it seemed like a normal shot of friends around the dinner table, but then they spotted something. At the far end of the table stood a translucent figure, glowing, see-through. And the weirdest part? No one remembers anyone standing there when the picture was taken. No filters, no editing, straight from the phone, with only a few emojis covering faces for privacy. So now the question is, who or what was captured that night? Was it a ghost, or is there a logical explanation hiding in plain sight? A peaceful walk turned into a nightmare when a woman walker plunged off the trail, clung to the edge ging for her life to the edge.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I got her by the foot. Oh, thank you so much. I can't pull up. No, Mom, it's gonna be okay. Thank you.
No, use your feet. Get back up here. You got this.
Okay, let me.
No, I'm not letting you go.
I got your other hand. Can you push your feet up? That's what I'm trying.
I'm gonna try to get under your armpit here. Ready?
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a big hoist here. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. Okay.
You all right?
I'm fine, thank you.
Her only lifeline, her one-armed daughter, gritting her teeth to hold her on. The fear in both their faces was icy seconds from disaster. And then, out of nowhere, a man running the same course appeared and yanked her back onto the trail, converting catastrophic failure into a miracle. What would you have done then? Could you have waited, or would you panic? Was it fate that the man arrived at the correct time? In late March 1988, 18-year-old Inga Maria Hauser left her family home in Munich, Germany, to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. Despite her young age, Inga Maria was independent, confident, and driven by a thirst to explore the world beyond her doorstep. Her first destination? England. Her parents and sister said their goodbyes at a train station, unaware it would be the last time they would ever see her alive. Inga Maria arrived in London full of excitement. She was enchanted by the city, writing home to share her joy. In postcards and phone calls, she spoke of how captivated she was by England and how kind and helpful the people were. She even joked that she wished she could stay for a year. From London, Inga traveled to Oxford, where she stayed in a youth hostel. In a journal entry dated April 3rd, she wrote, "Stayed at the youth hostel, ate too much, decided to go to Bath." She sent another postcard from Bath, again gushing about her journey and assuring her family not to worry. She felt completely safe. By April 5th, she was on the move again, heading to Cambridge, then Bristol, and on to Liverpool. She was determined to see as much of the UK as possible before meeting a friend in Wales. In the early hours of April 6th, she boarded a night train to Inverness, Scotland. From there, she travelled to Stranraer, where she caught a ferry to Larne in Northern Ireland. Her journal entry that day was simple, yet chilling in hindsight. "Wonder where I'll stay tonight. Need more money." The ferry arrived late that evening, giving Inga Maria only a brief window to board the train to Belfast. But she never made it. 2 weeks later, her body was discovered by a sheep farmer in Ballypatrick Forest Park, near Ballycastle in County Antrim, an hour's drive from where the ferry had docked. She was lying face down, just off a dirt path, her belongings scattered nearby. Strangely, her passport was missing, but her ID card had been left behind. The scene suggested a brutal and disturbing attack. Inga Maria had been viciously beaten around the face and head, and DNA evidence revealed an attempted sexual assault. Her neck had been broken, a clear indication of a violent struggle. A pathologist concluded that she likely died at the scene, though it's believed the assault may have happened elsewhere. Detectives theorized that someone had driven her to the remote forest, someone who knew the area intimately. Inga Maria, by all accounts, was careful and unlikely to accept a ride from a stranger. But all the evidence pointed to her being taken there in a vehicle. Whoever killed her seemed to want the body found, leaving it exposed and the ID card visible as if to ensure the world would know who she was. The case sparked the largest DNA screening in UK history. Authorities built a complete DNA profile of the suspect, yet no match was ever found. Over 36 years have passed. No arrests, no justice. Inga Maria's parents died without ever seeing her killer brought to account. Her father in 2006, her mother in 2019. Her older sister continues to carry the weight of the family's grief. Though time moves on, the pain remains frozen for those who loved her. And somewhere out there, the person responsible for her death is still free. An Australian man and his friends were out adventuring along a remote river, just looking for a fun way to beat the heat. Spotting a sturdy tree, he tied a rope to a branch and got ready to swing into the inviting water below. Everything looked safe, until it wasn't.
Oh. Boy, do it all on that one.
The moment he leapt, the surface exploded. A massive crocodile burst out from beneath the water, jaws wide, snapping inches from his legs. Heart pounding, he thrashed back to shore in a full-blown panic, realizing just how close he'd come to a brutal end. Shaken but miraculously unharmed, he knew one thing for sure: it was time to call it a day. On May 17, 1998, Francis and Sergei Arsenyev became the first American couple to reach the summit of Mount Everest without the use of supplemental oxygen, a historic feat that should have etched their names into the annals of mountaineering triumph. Photographs captured Fran beaming with joy on top of the world, unaware that this moment of glory would soon turn into one of the most haunting tragedies in Everest's history. The descent from the summit proved to be far more treacherous than the climb up. Somewhere along the way, Fran and Sergei became separated. As night fell and temperatures plummeted, both were left exposed to the brutal elements. By morning, Fran was discovered in critical condition by a group of climbers from Uzbekistan. She was still alive, but barely exhausted, frostbitten, and unable to move on her own. Later that day, Kathy O'Dowd and her climbing team encountered Fran, still tethered to a fixed rope. Despite the team's perilous position on the mountain, Kathy approached Fran, unaware that she was about to bear witness to the climber's final, heartbreaking moments. Fran, weak and fading fast, looked up at Kathy and, with what little strength she had left, whispered a plea that would echo through Everest's legacy. "Don't leave me. Don't leave me." Sadly, despite their efforts, Fran could not be saved. Sergei, upon realizing his wife hadn't made it down, had gone back up the mountain in search of her. He, too, would never return. His body was found a year later, higher up on the mountain. Together in life and ultimately in death, Fran and Sergei's story is a chilling reminder of the unforgiving nature of Everest and the fragile, fleeting line between triumph and tragedy at the roof of the world. A peaceful walk turned into a heart-pounding close call for a few locals in Chanwei County, Sichuan, China. As they strolled along the hillside, something didn't feel right. Then they saw it. The ground began to shift. Acting on instinct, they ran for their lives, and just seconds later, a cascade of rocks thundered down behind them. Miraculously, no one was hurt. Days of heavy rain had likely set the stage for the landslide, and what could have been a tragic disaster turned into an incredible stroke of luck. In 2011, a family vacationing in Tennessee's Smoky Mountains captured something eerie on camera.
What's he doing?
While filming the scenic view, the man behind the camera noticed a sudden movement in the background. A moment later, it appeared again, this time partially hidden behind thick bushes. The family was convinced they had just seen Bigfoot, and given how steep and unforgiving the terrain is, especially around Klingman's Dome, it would be nearly impossible for someone to stage a hoax in a costume. Strangest of all, sightings like this aren't exactly uncommon in these mountains. YouTuber Maddie Ann had a strange feeling that something was lurking in her backyard, so she grabbed her camera and went to investigate. As she scanned the area, she unknowingly captured something eerie, a dark, shadowy figure peeking from behind a tree. Strangely, while the camera recorded the details of the tree, the figure itself lacked any defining features, making it seem almost unreal. Some believe it could have been someone in a black mesh costume, but the unsettling lack of clarity leaves its true identity a chilling mystery. Tom was casually using the Randonautica app when it led him to a half-built, abandoned construction site. Intrigued but uneasy, he decided to step inside, curious about why the app had brought him there. The place was silent, empty, and unsettling.
Why? Oh, this.
So guys, at this point I was not sure why it brought me here. I was just exploring the whole site. I was like, okay, whatever, this app's probably rigged, I don't know. Let's see what happens, and then here's where it goes totally wrong.
Right. What if it's brought me just like a brick? It's brought me here just like a brick, I don't even know.
Nothing felt right. He turned to leave until he heard something. A strange noise, muffled, close, and not natural.
Yo, what the? Yo, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Out of nowhere, A man in a dark hoodie charged at him, swinging a sledgehammer like a maniac. Panic exploded through Tom. He bolted, heart pounding, legs pumping, barely dodging the crazed man's attack. Once he finally made it to safety, Tom hit record on his phone again, his hands still shaking. While exploring the infamous Missouri State Penitentiary's death row with his dad, a Reddit user had an encounter that would leave anyone questioning reality. As they ventured deeper into the eerie halls, the user snapped some photos of his dad. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but in the first image, a faint, shadowy figure appears near the top of the stairs, a detail that might go unnoticed at first glance. However, the second photo sends chills down the spine. A woman who wasn't there before is seen walking behind the dad. The third photo reveals her again, standing right behind him, as if she's been following them the whole time. What's even more unnerving is that the dad later confessed his legs gave out when they reached the end of the walk. An odd coincidence that seems to be captured in the final photo. So, who or what was with them that day? In 2011, a hiker embarked on a heart-pounding journey along Spain's infamous Caminito del Rey, capturing footage that would leave anyone's palms sweating. The narrow walkway, once known as the world's most dangerous path, clung precariously to the cliffs near Malaga. With crumbling stairs, missing handrails, and a sheer 330-foot drop into the river below, it was a daredevil's dream and a nightmare for anyone afraid of heights. Originally built in the early 20th century for hydroelectric workers, the walkway had deteriorated so badly by 2006 that much of it had collapsed, leaving behind only rusted steel beams and fragile safety wires. Yet, despite the life-threatening risks and several recorded fatalities, thrill seekers continued to test their luck, lured by the solitude, breathtaking views, and sheer adrenaline rush. Fortunately, a full restoration in 2015 brought the path back to a much safer state, making it accessible to visitors without the looming fear of disaster. As for the hiker who filmed that harrowing journey, they made it through unscathed, but looking at those crumbling paths, it's chilling to think how easily their adventure could have taken a deadly turn. This gripping story comes from the YouTube channel Mooch, where creator David documents his daring adventures through the haunting world of urban exploration. From forgotten factories to decaying hospitals, David has seen it all. But in this particular video, he and his friend Felix push the boundaries even further by planning to spend the night inside a derelict manor house abandoned for over 30 years. At first, everything goes smoothly. It's March 6th, 2015. The duo quietly slips into the crumbling mansion undetected. Dust dances in the shafts of sunlight piercing through broken windows, and silence clings to the empty halls. They begin filming, soaking in the eerie stillness. But that silence doesn't last long. A voice echoes from outside.
We did say we'd climb over, but the gentleman said not to bother in case we hurt ourselves. This is where I get castrated.
At first, it's hard to make out the words, but the message becomes crystal clear. They've been spotted. Instead of panicking, David and Felix decide to stay calm and confront whoever's outside. Maybe it's just a curious local. Maybe they can explain. But as they step out of the shadows and into the daylight, things take a sharp and unsettling turn. That's how the confrontation begins.
Buildings, take photographs. We've got no criminal intentions. We can see this stuff. You know, I've been to places where, you know.
Actually meets aircraft and stuff. It's just the building you're interested in.
Yeah, and like, you know, the inside, just like all the old.
Can you search me for another section 1 of the police and criminal evidence?
Yeah, sure, no problem, buddy.
You got anything on you shouldn't have?
No.
Anything silly, like?
No, don't do.
Weapons, any tools?
Nope. Driver keys. Car keys. I've got lots of sugar in there because there was a ball in here. So I bought some sugar in case the ball came over to feed him.
Okay.
That was it.
Go ahead.
Been in there. Needs a lick of paint.
What was your old address?
Sorry?
What's your old address?
My old address.
The man is furious. He accuses them of trespassing, of damaging his fence, even of ruining his Saturday morning. David and Felix try to de-escalate, reassuring him that they're only there to take photographs. No harm meant, no break-ins, no theft. Just two explorers documenting the beauty of decay. But the man isn't having it.
It's just the one car? Yeah, Felix lives in London. I live down in Kent, so I'll drive up from Kent. Yeah, I've driven further. You know, all we do, mate, is take photos, you know what I mean? But I can understand, you know, I was speaking to a young lady who came here a few months ago, I think, and she said, oh, just be aware of the owner. How come there's so many of you then turned up? It's like the cavalry. Oh, right.
He rages on, claiming the police are already on their way. His aggression doesn't just seem like anger, it feels like fear, as if he's not just upset by their presence, but terrified of what they might find. David keeps his cool. He stays respectful, calm, polite. But deep down, both he and Felix realize they've probably overstayed their welcome. They were planning to camp inside that night. Had they been caught later, after retrieving their gear, it could have ended a lot worse. Then the police arrive. David and Felix are cuffed. Despite the tension, the officers remain professional. David explains everything. They're explorers, not criminals. They didn't break in. They didn't steal anything. All they took were photos. The officers listen. The truth comes out. Yes, the landowner claimed they were attempting robbery.
Will do. I know. Yeah. Have you ever been arrested ever in your life?
God, when I was a kid.
Right, okay, it's probably a long time ago and things have probably changed, okay?
Yeah.
The reason we need to get you in there is because we can't talk about it here.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it's for your rights and entitlements as well, so things are done legally.
Right.
Okay, so you are entitled to certain rights, one of those being a solicitor.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know what you're doing here, and it's not my job to ask you here and now.
Yeah.
It's to ask you in a tape recorded interview.
Okay.
Okay? Give it.
It's only that one, it's a tiny bit tight. We're not here to cause any trouble, mate. We're sorry to bother you, mate. You know what I mean? We're only taking photos. I'll show you something when we get back down in it.
But there was no evidence, no intent. In the UK, simple trespassing is a civil offense, not a criminal one, unless property is damaged or someone refuses to leave. After questioning at the station, all charges are dropped. In the end, it was a tense but harmless brush with the law. But it could have been much worse. Had they stayed the night or been caught deeper inside the house, the situation might have spiraled. This experience became more than just a story. It became a reminder. In the world of urban exploration, unpredictability is the only guarantee. No matter how well you plan, the unknown always finds a way in. David and Felix were lucky. Let's just hope that luck doesn't run out next time. While hiking near the railroad tracks in Mission Park, San Antonio, a man snapped a quick photo, but what he saw later left him speechless. When he reviewed the image, two mysterious figures appeared in the distance, standing eerily still. Locals have long whispered tales of ghostly children who push stalled cars off the tracks. But this was something entirely different. Confused and unsettled, unsure if he'd captured a trick of the light or something truly supernatural, he posted the photo online, and the internet hasn't stopped talking about it since. On October 27, 2024, a man exploring an abandoned railway station stumbled upon something bone-chilling.
रात के 12 बज रहे हैं और आप लोग देख सकते हैं दूर दूर तो कोई नज़र नहीं आ रहा। इस रेलवे स्टेशन पे नज़र आ रही तो सिर्फ वो औरत यहाँ पे देख सकते हो। भाई रात के 12 बजे ये औरत यहाँ पे क्या कर रही है? जैसा लोग बोलते थे कि भाई ये औरत नहीं, ये औरत की आत्मा है जो कि ट्रेन के आने का इंतज़ार करती रहते हैं और यहाँ ट्रेन निकलेगी उसके पीछे ही जाती है, पता नहीं क्या करना चाहती है। कई सारे लोगों को
Sitting motionless on a weathered bench was a pale woman, silent, eerily still. At first, he thought she was just another lost soul, until she vanished. When he glanced down to check his camera, she was right there. But when he looked up again, the bench was empty, gone. He swears she wasn't human, but a restless spirit trapped in time, forever waiting for trains that will never return. Locals believe she's the reason no one dares set foot there after dark. And now, so does he. In April 2019, a YouTuber named Jason, who runs the channel Appy Mountain Trekkers, uploaded what initially seemed like a routine video, a solo overnight camping trip deep in the mountains. Jason's channel is all about the great outdoors, hiking, camping, and surviving off the land. Most of his uploads are peaceful, almost therapeutic. But this video, it took a chilling turn. The hike up was uneventful. Jason cheerfully filmed himself pitching his tent and starting a campfire as the sun dipped behind the trees.
Figured I'd take a break. Got about 3 hours of daylight left.
While waiting for nightfall, he tried his hand at spoon carving, a quiet, relaxing activity. But as the forest darkened, things began to feel off. That's when he first heard it, a strange sound echoing from the mountaintop.
Alright guys, I just want to give you a quick update. It's about 10 after 10. I laid down about 9 o'clock and I was trying to go to sleep. It took me a while and I was almost asleep, and sometime before 10 I was woke up by something I've never heard in my life. I heard like 4 quick, very loud, deep guttural calls on this ridge behind me, behind camp. There's like a dip on the other side and it goes up to a higher ridge on this backside, and it sounded like it come from over there.
He brushed it off as a bird or maybe a small animal, but he admitted later it gave him pause. By 9 p.m., Jason turned off the camera and climbed into his tent for the night. But less than an hour later, something woke him up. A sound. Not just any sound, something guttural, unnatural. Hours passed. Then, around 1 a.m., he was awakened again, this time not by a distant call, but by the unmistakable sound of something circling his tent.
About 1 o'clock, I woke up again. I heard something circling my camp. Hear that?
As Jason swept his flashlight across the trees, you can just barely make out something in the bottom left corner of the screen. 2 glowing sets of eyes reflecting in the beam. They're low to the ground, unmoving, watching. While many animals' eyes reflect light at night, the sharp, fiery white glow suggests these could have belonged to wolves or coyotes. Domesticated dogs also produce white reflections, but the odds of a pet wandering the mountains at 1 a.m. are slim. If these were coyotes or wolves, especially if they had pups nearby, Jason was in danger. But here's the chilling part. Jason doesn't seem to notice the eyes at all. He never comments on them, never zooms in. He simply scans the area, then retreats into his tent and somehow manages to sleep through the night. The next morning, he filmed a short update before heading back down the mountain, but not once did he mention the eyes his camera had caught watching him. To this day, there has been no follow-up on the incident, no explanation, just one eerie video, and a sense that Jason might not have been alone out there in the woods. Lewis, Clark, and their friends thought exploring an old abandoned train hidden deep within the forest would be fun. Most of the train cars were empty, silent, and eerie, but nothing too unusual. That is, until they reached the caboose. Inside, the air felt heavier. The sheets covering the benches were stained with dark red spots. Something large, something unnaturally heavy, was hidden beneath one of them.
Alright, then we'll come, let's go. What is that? What? What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Just go, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we need to get out.
Fucking go, go.
That shit. Go on.
Fuck. Ugh. There's mud everywhere, Ant. Wait, is that a body? Is that a body? We need to call the police, mate. We need to. Oh my god, this has happened before, bro. This has happened before. Ow, I got fucking head.
Mate. I'm fucking wrong,
That was.
No one dared to lift the sheet. They bolted, even leaping over another blood-stained cover on their way out, hearts pounding. To this day, no one knows what was under those sheets. Some say it was a body, others think it was something even worse. But one thing's certain, Lewis and his friends never went back. Rody runs a YouTube channel often documenting his adventures traveling across the country and sleeping in his truck. His videos usually highlight the peaceful side of nomadic life, stunning nature shots, the freedom of the open road, and self-reliance. But one particular upload from December 2017 took a much darker turn. The footage came from an unsettling experience earlier that year, while Rody was car camping in a quiet parking lot around 1:30 a.m. Out of nowhere, a hooded man appeared and began circling his truck, snapping photos of the license plates.
30 in the morning when I heard someone walking around my truck, and whenever you're sleeping, somewhere public and you hear somebody walking around outside your truck, it's always a little bit alarming. So what you'll see here in a second, he pulls out his phone and starts taking pictures. It looks like of my license plate or something like that. I'm not sure why he was doing this. So I thought maybe, I wasn't allowed to park there and he was taking pictures of my license plate, but it's kind of odd to be doing that at 1:30 in the morning. And he didn't look like a security guard or anything like that. Also, some of you may be wondering why he's not able to see me in the back. And where I was parked, the street light shined into the cab, but the camper shell has really tinted windows, so it was pitch black in the back where I was. So after he'd done a few laps around my truck, and I could tell it looks like he's up to no good, he comes back around and tries to shine his flashlight into the back of my camper shell. You'll see here in a second. And I just bang on the window, and he takes off running. So he probably wasn't expecting that.
Since the back of the truck, where Rody was sleeping, was pitch black, the man likely assumed it was empty. Completely unaware he was being recorded, the stranger lingered around the vehicle, acting suspiciously for several minutes. Eventually, he crept up to the side and shined a flashlight through the windows, possibly trying to see inside. That's when Rody made his move. With a loud bang on the inside of the truck, he startled the man, who immediately bolted into the night. It's unclear what his intentions were, but given his behavior, it's not far-fetched to think he may have been planning a carjacking or worse. Thankfully, Rhodey acted quickly, avoided a potentially dangerous situation, and found somewhere safer to spend the rest of the night. While wandering through a quiet, overgrown cemetery, a woman stumbled across a peculiar headstone. It marked the grave of a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Rice. At first, everything seemed normal, but then something odd caught her eye.
We're doing our ghost hunting. Next thing. Mr. Rice? Mr. and Mrs. Rice? Look at this. He was born in 1944, but died in 2034. And then Miss Rice was born in 1950, and she died in 2040. I thought we were in 2025. Did I time warp when I came through the other night?
Mr. Rice was born in 1944, but his date of death was engraved as 2034. Mrs. Rice, born in 1950, passed in 2040. Both dates were still in the future. She stood frozen, brows furrowed. Was this some kind of twisted joke? A stonecutter's error? Or something far more unsettling? While hiking deep in the woods, this person stumbled upon an abandoned building, and what they found inside was nothing short of chilling. One wall was dominated by a massive wooden cross, surrounded by dozens of old photographs of people, each face staring blankly, frozen in time. Nearby, smaller crosses had been crudely scratched into the decaying walls, and at the far end of the room stood a bamboo cross, eerily positioned like part of some dark ritual or forgotten shrine. Whether it was a warning or a memorial, one thing was certain. The air was thick with something sinister. He didn't stick around to find out. Thankfully, he made it out in one piece. This person lives deep in the woods, far from civilization. One quiet morning, while reviewing footage from a trail cam placed in their yard, they stumbled upon something chilling. In the dead of night, the camera had captured a mysterious figure who looked like a woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing, calmly walking across their property. But here's the terrifying part. The land is completely fenced in, and there isn't a single neighbor for miles. So, who or what did this family catch on camera that night? While hiking deep in the mountains, about 4 miles from the nearest trailhead, a lone hiker came across something truly disturbing. Scattered beside the narrow path were several handmade figures, twisted humanoid shapes with stitched faces, fragile limbs, and rusted needles piercing through them. Out of curiosity, the hiker picked one up. It was cold, damp, almost like it had just been placed there. No other hikers were around, no footprints, no explanations. The dolls looked eerily similar to voodoo effigies. Were they part of some ritual, a memorial, or something far more sinister? Whatever their purpose, the chilling discovery sent a shiver down the hiker's spine. 2 people were enjoying a peaceful day at a deserted beach, just goofing around and recording some fun videos. Everything seemed normal until they played one of the clips back.
Con atención este video. ¿Qué crees que era eso con figura humanoide que se captó al fondo?
In the background, a mysterious figure that looks like a woman suddenly appears. But here's where it gets creepy. Her arms move in a bizarre, glitchy way, almost as if the footage was edited. The strange part? The women who posted it swear it's the original video, completely unaltered. So what exactly did they capture? A camera glitch or something far more unsettling? In Argentina, a strange skull has sparked a wave of theories and fascination. It's elongated, far longer than a typical human skull, and eerily alien in appearance. Some are convinced it's proof of extraterrestrial life. Others say it resembles the legendary Antenmen from Greek mythology, mysterious underground creatures known for their sharp minds and overwhelming swarm tactics. So, what are we looking at? An alien artifact? A myth brought to life? Or just a case of extreme human skull deformation? The truth might be more bizarre than any theory. A group of backpackers was hiking along a breathtakingly scenic trail when, bam, it hit them like a wall of pure adrenaline.
Like a wall of...
No, really, because like that's what...
Out of nowhere, a massive grizzly bear stepped out from the thick forest, and without warning, it started chasing them. Panic set in as the group bolted, their peaceful hike turning into a race for survival. Hearts pounding, feet flying, they pushed themselves harder than ever, desperate to outpace the bear. Thankfully, the beast eventually lost interest and backed off. But that moment? That rush? Yeah, it turned an ordinary hike into the kind of story you'll be telling for the rest of your life. TikTok user Eric Hunter 1 was driving down a lonely road late at night when something chilling caught his eye. Curious, he checked his dash cam footage, and what he found was just as eerie as he remembered. Out of the shadows, a pale, human-like figure drifted across the road. It didn't walk. It floated smoothly, silently, gliding from one side to the other before disappearing into the night without a trace. The internet is divided. Some swear it's a ghost, others say it might be an animal distorted by the darkness. But one thing's certain, no one can explain exactly what Eric saw. While exploring a remote hiking trail, someone captured something truly disturbing on camera. Right in the middle of the path, a strange figure appeared, either sitting or squatting motionless. At first, it looked like a person, but the longer you stared, the less human it seemed. Uneasy and alarmed, the hiker didn't stick around. They backed away quickly, leaving us with just a few seconds of eerie footage. So the question remains, what exactly did they see out there that day? Two friends took a casual trip to Devil's Den in Gettysburg, one of America's most notoriously haunted battlefields. They wandered the historic grounds, snapping photos and soaking in the eerie atmosphere, unaware that anything was amiss. But once they got home and looked through their pictures, something chilling jumped out. In one image, a shadowy figure dressed entirely in black stood silently behind them. In the next few frames, the figure appeared to drift farther away, oddly, as if it were walking backward. Both friends insist no one else was there. Given Devil's Den's long history of ghostly sightings, especially of Civil War soldiers, the question lingers. Did they unknowingly photograph one of the battlefield's restless spirits? While out on a night walk, an anonymous uploader spotted strange lights flickering in the distance. Curiosity got the better of him, and he quietly crept closer to investigate. But as he approached, it became clear. This wasn't just a campfire or a harmless gathering. What he saw resembled a satanic ritual. He never disclosed the exact location, but the scene radiated a chilling, almost otherworldly energy. Something dark, something deeply unsettling. Whatever they were worshipping remains a mystery. But one thing was certain. It was not something you'd ever want to stumble upon in the dead of night. Frightened and overwhelmed, he captured a few moments of the ritual on camera, then turned and ran, gripped by pure fear and disbelief. After a powerful earthquake rattled parts of Myanmar, a curious woman set out on a hike to survey the aftermath. As she made her way past a quiet stream, something unusual caught her eye. Partially submerged in the water was a figure that looked eerily human. At first glance, it seemed like a person. Some locals believe it could have been a mysterious sea creature dislodged by the quake. Others insist it was just an old statue or even a mannequin unearthed after years buried in the mud. Whatever it was, one thing's certain, it gave everyone the chills. A man and his friend were walking through a quiet town in Veracruz, Mexico, late one eerie night. That's when they saw it. At the far end of the street stood a strange figure, motionless, dressed in a yellow dress and staring directly at them. And then, it moved.
Tengo una lamparota super expandex. Ah, bueno, tú tienes tu luz azul. ¿Qué?
Güey, ese es el velador de...
Es el velador, ¿no? Ah, velador. ¡Ey! ¡Velador!
Aguanta, aguanta, espérate, ey. Shh, no te muevas. No mames, no te muevas ahí. Güey.
¿Velador?
Ese no es el velador, güey.
Güey, no es el velador. Sí,
No.
Yo también pensaba que era el velador.
No, aguanta. Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, güey. Eso no es el velador. No digas perras mamadas, güey. Perdón.
Slowly, it turned its head and slipped silently around the corner. The two men didn't hesitate. They bolted after it. But when they turned the corner, there was nothing. No person, no sound. Just a crumbling children's park and an old weather-worn statue of a woman in a yellow dress, standing frozen in place.
Mire. No digas mamadas, güey. No, Yus. No. No, güey, no mames.
¿Qué fue eso, güey?
No sé.
No mames, güey. No mames.
¿Crees que haya sido ella?
Güey, nos estamos metiendo más adentro del reino mágico. Banda, comparte.
No mames, güey, no mames.
Parece que los ojos te miran, ¿verdad?
Pareciera, pero no creo, güey.
Locals whisper that the statues in that abandoned park come alive at night. So the question is, did these two just witness one of them in action? In the summer of 1998, a traveler exploring Ireland brought along their trusty Olympus OM10, capturing 2 full rolls of film, 24 photos per roll. Most of the pictures came out just as expected: majestic castles, quiet chapels, and sweeping emerald landscapes. But one image stood out, and not in a good way. It showed a dimly lit corridor ending at a worn wooden door, with a mysterious figure cloaked in what looked like a cape standing at the end. The problem? The traveler swears they were never in any hallway like that. They don't remember seeing anyone dressed like that, and they don't recall taking the photo. To this day, no one has been able to explain how that eerie shot got there. One strange image, forever burned into the negatives and their memory. During a guided walk through St. James's Cemetery, Louisa Farrell snapped a chilling photo that quickly stirred debate. In the image, a pale, human-like figure seems to stand silently among the weathered headstones. Some say it's the ghost of a soldier who perished during the 1644 siege of Liverpool. Others argue it's just a case of pareidolia, your brain turning shadows into something more sinister. But look closely. To me, it looks more like a woman in a flowing dress, or maybe even a nightgown, drifting through the graveyard as if lost in time. What do you see? YouTuber Hassan was exploring the eerie, shadowy hills of Jordan alone, just his phone and a flashlight guiding the way, when something strange caught his eye. At first, it was just a figure in the distance, but as he got closer, the details became clearer and far more disturbing. The figure had long, matted hair hanging over most of its face. Its exposed skin was a chilling, unnatural shade of dark gray. It didn't move, just stood there silently, its mouth opening and closing as if trying to speak, but not a single sound came out. Hassan called out, but nothing. No response, just silence.
غريب. انت بشر انت. اخوان ايش هذا.
Nervously, he began to back away, unsure of what he had just seen. Was it a spirit? A wandering soul? Could it have been a jinn? A supernatural being whispered about in local legends? Or was it all just a well-planned hoax meant to scare viewers? You decide. While hiking, this person spotted something that sent chills rushing down their spine. From a distance, high on a remote hilltop, a massive figure appeared, towering over the landscape with impossibly long arms swinging by its sides. At first, it looked almost human, but the way it moved told a very different story. Confident, steady, and almost too calm for something that shouldn't even exist, the creature strode across the ridge like it owned the land. The hiker quickly pulled out their camera, their hands shaking, and managed to capture the unbelievable sight. And this wasn't just some blurry dot in the distance. The figure's sheer size, its heavy stride, and the strange way its limbs swayed looked nothing like a normal person, or even an animal. Many people who've seen this footage swear it could only be Sasquatch, the legendary Bigfoot that hunters, hikers, and explorers have been chasing for decades. Others argue it's just a person in a costume. But here's the thing. Look closely at how tall it is compared to the hilltop trees. Notice the way the arms nearly reach its knees? If it was someone in a suit, how could they possibly pull that off? One thing's for sure, the mystery of Bigfoot just got a whole lot scarier. Kids were playing in the woods while their dad filmed them, when suddenly, a black cryptid appeared. It didn't just walk. It leapt straight into the trees, moving like something out of a nightmare.
Come on, guys.
What's that, Dad?
I don't. Let's go. Let's go back inside. Come on. Come on, guys.
But here's the chilling part. This happened in the Appalachian Mountains. These mountains stretch over 2,000 miles across 13 states, and some forests are so deep they go 100 miles without a single town. Many people have vanished here, never seen again. So the storyteller has to ask, was that creature just passing by? Or is it the reason some people never come back from the Appalachians? On New Year's Eve, 2022, deep in the Appalachian Mountains, a man stepped outside to take out the trash. Strange noises had been drifting in from the woods all night, but curiosity got the better of him. The second he set foot outside, the air was pierced by blood-chilling screams echoing through the trees.
Going here by myself. Weird stuff out here. I've been hearing weird stuff out here, so. Yep, there it is. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go.
His nervous laugh quickly turned into panic as he blurted out, before rushing back inside. Alone in the depths of the Appalachian Mountains, a man awoke to a feeling he could never forget, like invisible eyes piercing through the darkness. It was 2 a.m. when his gaze slid toward the doorway and froze. There, in the faint glow of the shadows, stood a strange figure, unmoving, staring straight at him. Terror rooted him to the bed, but somehow his trembling hand found his phone, hitting record from where he lay. That's when the night turned truly horrifying. A low demonic whisper crawled through the silence, echoing across the room. So the question is, what exactly was watching him in the dark? This eerie trail cam footage comes straight out of the Appalachian Mountains, and what it captures is bone-chilling. Some believe it shows the rake, others call it a pale crawler, but one thing's certain, this figure doesn't look human. Even more unsettling, right before the clip ends, the creature seems to realize it's being watched, staring directly at the camera. To rule out any trickery, the footage was analyzed with Deepware's AI and CGI detection tools. The results? A clear green report, confirming no signs of deepfakes or digital tampering. What exactly did this camera capture lurking in the Appalachian woods? A lone hiker wanders off the main trail, thinking maybe there's a shortcut or just wanting to explore a bit. But then, something unusual catches their eye. A hole dug straight into the ground. It wasn't just a small dip in the dirt, no, this looked deliberate, like someone had been digging for days. Curious, the hiker decided to step inside. At first, it felt like a harmless adventure, almost like crawling into a secret fort. But the deeper they went, the darker it became. The tunnels stretched on, carved out with unsettling precision, and every step echoed like someone or something had walked there before. And then, at the very end of this long, narrow tunnel, the hiker froze. A cage, just sitting there in the darkness. Rusted bars, heavy chains, and a lock that looked far too strong for something so deep underground. Now here's where the real questions begin. Who dug this? Was it just some prankster? Or maybe someone building a strange underground hideout? But then again, why the cage? A cage doesn't just appear by accident. Was it meant to keep something in, or to keep people out? Think about it. Cages are built for control. If someone went through the trouble of digging this tunnel, dragging down a cage, and locking it in place, then whatever it was meant to hold had to be important, or dangerous. Imagine being alone in a quiet cabin, miles away from anyone else. The night is still, the fire is crackling, and everything feels calm. Until a strange sound breaks the silence. That's exactly what happened to one man during his stay in the woods. At first, he thought it was just an animal moving around, maybe a deer or a raccoon. But curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to step outside and check. The deeper he walked into the forest, the louder the noise became, like wood splitting in half. Then he saw it.
Look, they're ruining this freaking place. What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is. Because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, see, he's coming right above me right here. He's fixing to throw something at me, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't like you messing with them. Look. What in God's name? Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down. Something, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's gotta be I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and it doing this. It's something stronger than a bear. And he is pissed. Yeah, that's a healthy tree. About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him.
Trees, massive trees, weren't just falling. They were being ripped apart, torn right down the middle, as if something unbelievably strong was smashing through them. Whatever was out there wasn't moving slowly either. It was fast, darting between the shadows, too quick to fully see. He froze, his heart racing, staring into the darkness. The forest that once felt peaceful now felt alive, almost like it was hiding something that didn't want to be found. So, what could it have been? A natural disaster? Some kind of animal no one talks about? Or something much stranger that doesn't want to be discovered? It was just an ordinary afternoon when a man living near a graveyard started recording his surroundings. The sun was out, everything seemed calm, until it happened. Out of nowhere, a blood-curdling scream echoed from inside the cemetery. It wasn't a laugh, it wasn't an animal. It was something far more chilling. He froze, phone in hand, as the scream rang out again, louder this time, like it was coming from deep within the graves themselves. So here's the question. What do you think he captured? While passing through an old cemetery with her dog, everything seemed calm at first, just the crunch of leaves underfoot and the quiet breeze brushing against the gravestones. But suddenly, the dog froze. Its ears perked up, its body went stiff, and then it started pulling back on the leash like it had seen something terrible. Now, dogs don't act like that for no reason. They're known to sense things people can't, strange sounds, hidden movements, and maybe even things beyond our world. The girl looked around, but the cemetery was empty. Still, her dog wouldn't move forward. Instead, it kept staring at one shadowy corner, eyes wide and fur bristling. The air grew colder. Every step felt heavier, like someone or something was nearby. Watching. Was it a restless spirit wandering between the headstones? A shadow figure lurking in the dark? Or maybe something invisible that only her dog could see? One thing's for sure, the cemetery didn't feel so empty anymore. And if animals really do sense what we can't, then maybe the dog wasn't scared for nothing. A farmer in Buenos Aires recently uploaded a chilling video that left viewers stunned. In the clip, a shadowy figure can be seen gliding swiftly across his field, towering at what looks to be nearly 8 feet tall. It moved upright, taking long, deliberate strides through the grass, unlike any animal known in the region. The farmland was eerily empty, making its presence stand out even more. Some online speculate it could be the Yasi, a mysterious forest being whispered about in local folklore. Others say its massive build and strange gait make it resemble Bigfoot. Whatever it was, one thing is certain. The farmer had never seen anything like it before. When a homeowner steps outside for some fresh air, suddenly, frozen in place. Just a few yards away, a child is standing there. Not laughing, not playing, not moving, just staring. But here's the unsettling part. This kid is wearing a mask. A blank, expressionless mask. The clothes look odd too, like they were picked out of an old attic or borrowed from another time. Torn shirt and leaves used as pants, the kind of outfit that feels wrong. The homeowner's curiosity takes over, so footsteps move closer. Questions are asked. Where are your parents? Do you live around here? But the kid? Silence. No words, no reaction. Just staring. At this point, the mind starts racing. Who could the owner of this child be? Is there even a parent nearby? Or could this be something else entirely? Something not even human, just wearing the shape of a kid to lure people in? It's the kind of moment that makes the hair on the back of the neck stand straight up. Because when someone or something refuses to answer, when it just watches, motionless, it's impossible not to wonder, is this a lost child? Or a warning? So what do you think? Was it really just some neighborhood kid pulling a prank? Or did the homeowner witness something far stranger? While hiking through the mountains of India, something caught the eyes of many travelers. A trail so terrifying, it almost looked like a dare from nature itself. The path was carved into the steep side of a mountain, with steps so tiny that even the slightest slip could send someone tumbling into the abyss below. Each step felt less like a solid foothold and more like a test of courage. Picture this. The ground beneath the feet was barely wide enough to place a shoe. The wind howled, brushing against shoulders as if it wanted to push someone off balance. Looking down wasn't an option. The sheer drop stretched endlessly, making stomachs twist with fear. One wrong move, and the consequences could be severe. Many hikers say their hearts raced faster with every step, not from the climb, but from the thought of what could happen if they slipped. Some even admitted their knees were shaking so badly that it felt like the mountain itself was laughing at their fear. Others described it as walking on a knife's edge, where bravery and disaster live just inches apart. But here's the strangest part. Even though the trail is insanely dangerous, adventurers still line up to face it. Why? Because reaching the end gives a feeling that's almost magical. A mix of survival, pride, and the thrill of conquering something that looked impossible. A mysterious dark figure was recently spotted on Google Earth, just outside Montrose, Colorado. The coordinates, 38 degrees, 16 minutes, 24 seconds north, 108 degrees, 8 minutes, 32 seconds west, pinpoint the exact location where the shape emerged. And what's strange, the outline looks eerily similar to the classic image of a Sasquatch mid-stride. Even more compelling, the figure only appeared in a single satellite shot from 2019, then vanished in all others. That rules out a tree or rock formation. It was moving, and now things get even wilder. A newly released game cam photo has surfaced, and many are calling it the clearest Bigfoot image ever captured. The figure towers with massive shoulders, thick arms, and a barrel-like chest, features that rarely show up in past blurry sightings. The image is so sharp, it leaves people divided. Skeptics say it's too real, while believers insist it's the proof they've been waiting for. In July 2021, a couple set out on the Lover's Lane Trail in Olympic National Park, tracing the path along the Salt Duck River. The scenery was breathtaking, until something unusual caught their eyes. Far in the distance stood a dark, motionless figure. It didn't shift, didn't sway, didn't move at all. Thinking it was nothing more than a fallen tree, they continued on their way, but not before snapping a quick photo. Later, curiosity got the better of them, and they ran that photo through a Google image search. What does the AI tool suggest? Let's just say it might not have been a simple treetop after all.